Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry an invisible weight of wisdom, while others radiate an almost childlike curiosity that never dims? How certain individuals naturally become the steady rocks everyone leans on, while others appear to dance through life, constantly reinventing themselves like beautiful storms. What if I told you that a single digit, the last number of the year you were born, might hold a key to understanding these mysterious differences that have puzzled humanity for centuries? Imagine for a moment that you're looking at your birth year, not as a historical fact, but as a cosmic timestamp. The final digit sitting there quietly at the end. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. It seems so ordinary, doesn't it? You've written it thousands of times on forms, documents, memories. But Carl Jung, the revolutionary psychologist who mapped the hidden territories of the human soul, believed that nothing in our existence is truly random, not even the precise moment we enter this world. Jung spent his life studying what he called the collective unconscious, that vast ocean of shared human experience that connects us all through symbols, archetypes, and patterns that repeat across cultures and centuries. He discovered that our psyche speaks in a language older than words, through images, numbers, and symbolic meanings that pulse beneath the surface of our everyday awareness. And if Jung was right about the symbolic nature of existence, then perhaps that single digit at the end of your birth year carries more significance than you've ever imagined. Think about it this way. You weren't just born into a body or even into a family. You were born into a specific energetic atmosphere, a particular moment in humanity's collective story. The year itself holds the cultural climate, the dominant fears and dreams, the archetypal forces that were most active in the human psyche at that precise time. And that final digit? It's like the closing note of a symphony, the last brushstroke on a painting, small perhaps, but carrying a vibration that colors everything that follows. Consider two people born just a few years apart. One arrives in 1987, the other in 1990. The first carries the resonance of 7, the seeker, the one who questions everything beneath the surface. The second embodies 0, the infinite potential, the soul that remembers beginnings and endings are one. Even without knowing these individuals personally, you might sense something different in their approach to life. The 7 might spend their life searching for deeper meaning, always feeling like there's something more to discover. The 0 might possess an unusual stillness, a presence that makes others feel somehow complete just by being near them. This isn't superstition or fortune-telling. Jung would never reduce the magnificent complexity of a human soul to a simple number, but he might say that symbols, including numbers, are doorways into understanding the unconscious patterns that shape our choices, our relationships, our deepest longings. They're not limitations, they're invitations to greater self-awareness. The ancient world understood this profound truth. Numbers weren't just tools for counting, they were living forces, each carrying its own spiritual signature, its own archetypal power that influenced the very fabric of reality. 0 represented the cosmic void, pregnant with infinite possibility, the sacred womb from which all creation emerges. 1 embodied the courage to begin, to separate from the collective and forge an individual path into the unknown. 2 held the sacred mystery of relationship, of seeing oneself truly reflected in another consciousness. 3 danced with creative expression, the divine spark that transforms inner vision into outer reality. Each number carried not just mathematical value, but psychological weight, spiritual meaning, and transformative power. Jung understood that we live in a world saturated with meaning, where synchronicities aren't coincidences but messages from the unconscious, where symbols emerge in dreams and daily life to guide us toward wholeness. He saw that our birth moment, that precise instant when we take our first breath, is itself a symbolic event, a cosmic signature that influences the trajectory of our soul's journey through this lifetime. When you truly understand the symbolic energy you were born into, you begin to see your struggles not as random hardships, but as meaningful initiations. Your gifts not as accidents, but as tools perfectly designed for your soul's unique work in the world. Your timing not as coincidence, but as part of a larger pattern that's been unfolding since your first breath. The relationships that have shaped you, the challenges that have broken you open, the moments of profound joy that have lifted you beyond yourself. All of these experiences begin to reveal themselves as notes in a larger symphony, movements in a dance whose rhythm has been pulsing through your life since the very beginning. The number at the end of your birth year isn't your destiny, it's your starting point. It's the energetic soil your soul chose to grow in, the particular frequency that would best support your journey toward wholeness. And once you recognize this frequency, you can begin to work with it consciously, allowing it to support rather than confuse you, to guide rather than limit you. If your birth year ends in 0, you carry the soul of infinite potential, the sacred archetype of the eternal void that paradoxically contains everything. 0 isn't emptiness, it's the pregnant silence before the first word, the sacred space where all possibilities exist simultaneously. You might feel different from others in ways you can't quite name, as if you're carrying some ancient memory of wholeness that most people have forgotten. There's something timeless about your presence, something that exists beyond the boundaries of personality and social roles. People are often drawn to your energy without understanding why. They sense something in you that feels like coming home, like finding a peace they didn't know they were seeking. You possess a natural ability to hold space, to listen deeply, to offer others a sense of safety and acceptance that allows their true selves to emerge. Your gift is not in doing, but in being, not in moving, but in creating sacred stillness where healing can naturally occur. But this path isn't without its shadows. You may sometimes feel like you're watching life from the outside, floating between worlds, never quite belonging anywhere. The depth of your inner world can feel overwhelming, and you might struggle with feelings of emptiness or spiritual homesickness. Your challenge is learning that your quieter nature isn't a lack, it's a profound strength that the world desperately needs. In a culture obsessed with noise and speed, you remind others of the power of silence, of the wisdom that emerges only in stillness. Those born under one embody the pioneer's courage, the archetypal energy of the hero who ventures into unknown territory. From early on, you likely felt the pull to forge your own path, to question established ways, to initiate rather than follow. There's something in you that simply cannot accept, because that's how it's always been done, as a valid reason for anything. You're naturally innovative, often seeing possibilities others miss, solutions others haven't considered. Your soul carries the archetype of the leader, but not through dominance or force, through authentic self-expression that gives others permission to be genuine too. You lead by example, showing others what's possible when someone has the courage to be completely themselves. But this path of authenticity isn't easy. Your shadow might be the loneliness that comes with always going first, the weight of responsibility that settles on those who dare to break new ground. You might sometimes feel the pressure to prove yourself worthy of the path you've chosen, to justify your unconventional choices to a world that often prefers conformity. But your healing comes from understanding that true leadership isn't about being perfect, it's about being brave enough to be real, vulnerable enough to show others that it's safe to be themselves too. If your final digit is 2, you're wired for connection and harmony, carrying the sacred archetype of the lover, the one who understands that true fulfillment comes through relationship. You possess an almost psychic ability to sense what others are feeling, often before they're conscious of it themselves. This isn't just empathy, it's a deep soul-level recognition that we're all interconnected, that your well-being and mine are intimately linked. Relationships aren't just important to you, they're how you understand the world, how you discover who you are through reflection and response. You have a natural gift for creating bridges between hearts, for helping others feel seen and understood in their deepest truth. Your presence often brings peace to conflict, harmony to chaos, love to spaces where it seemed impossible. But your gift comes with its own challenges. Your deep sensitivity to others' emotions can become overwhelming if you don't learn to maintain healthy boundaries. You might find yourself taking on others' pain, sacrificing your own needs to maintain harmony, or losing yourself in relationships that demand more than they give. Your challenge is remembering that harmony built on self-abandonment isn't sustainable. Your task is learning to bring your whole self into relationship, to honor your own needs while caring for others. So if you're feeling that familiar tingle of recognition, that sense that there's something here worth exploring deeper, hit that subscribe button now, because what we're about to discover about the remaining digits might completely transform how you understand your life's hidden rhythms. This journey into the symbolic landscape of your soul is just beginning, and each number holds keys to understanding patterns you've been living unconsciously for years. Don't miss what's coming next. It might be the missing piece you've been searching for. The 3 energy dances with creative expression and joyful communication, embodying the archetypal spirit of the artist, the storyteller, the divine child who sees the world with fresh eyes. You're likely drawn to storytelling in some form, whether through words, art, movement, music, or simply the way you live your life as a work of art. There's something magnetic about your presence. You help others remember what it feels like to be fully alive, to see beauty in the ordinary, to feel joy as a natural state rather than a rare exception. You're here to translate the invisible into something others can touch, to give form to feelings that have no names, to bridge the gap between the inner world of imagination and the outer world of manifestation. Your natural enthusiasm and creativity can light up a room, inspire others to pursue their own creative dreams, and remind people that life doesn't have to be serious all the time. But your gift of expression comes with its own shadows. You might find yourself scattering your energy too widely, starting many projects but finishing few, or using constant activity and creativity to avoid sitting with deeper feelings. Sometimes your need for variety and stimulation can prevent you from developing the depth that comes from sustained focus. Your growth comes from learning that authentic creativity flows from stillness as much as movement, from depth as much as breadth. Those carrying 4 are the builders of lasting foundations, embodying the archetypal energy of the wise elder who understands that true success comes through patience, persistence, and careful attention to detail. You possess an instinctive understanding of what creates stability, safety, and structure in a chaotic world. Others rely on you because they sense your steady presence, your ability to remain calm in the midst of storms, your gift for creating order from chaos. You're drawn to creating systems, whether in your work, relationships, or inner life, that can support growth and healing over the long term. Your approach to life is methodical, practical, and grounded in real-world experience. You understand that lasting change happens slowly, that meaningful progress requires sustained effort, that the most beautiful things in life are often built brick by brick, day by day. Your gift is making the abstract concrete, helping dreams become reality through patient, consistent effort. You're often the one who turns brilliant ideas into workable plans, who provides the stability that allows others to take creative risks. But your strength can also become your limitation if you become too rigid, too attached to how things should be done. Your challenge is learning that true strength includes flexibility, that the most enduring structures know how to bend without breaking. If your number is 5, you're a soul in constant evolution, carrying the archetypal energy of the shapeshifter, the explorer, the eternal student who understands that life is about growth, change, and endless possibility. Change isn't something that happens to you. It's something you actively seek, because stagnation feels like spiritual death. You're naturally curious, adaptable, and drawn to experiences that expand your understanding of what's possible. You have an almost magnetic attraction to novelty, adventure, and transformation. While others might fear change, you embrace it as life's greatest teacher. You're often the one who encourages others to step outside their comfort zones, to try new things, to see life as an adventure rather than a burden. Your gift is showing others that transformation isn't something to fear, but something to embrace as the natural rhythm of existence. But your constant need for change and stimulation can also be your shadow. You might find yourself running from commitment, avoiding the depth that comes from staying with something long enough to truly master it. Your restlessness can prevent you from developing deep roots, from building the kind of lasting relationships and achievements that bring true fulfillment. Your healing comes from learning to root into your own center so that your changes become deeper returns to truth rather than escapes from it. The 6 carries the heart of the protector and nurturer, embodying the archetypal energy of the great mother or father who loves unconditionally and cares for all beings. You're instinctively drawn to care for others, to create emotional safety, to be present when everyone else disappears. Your love is expressed through action, through showing up, through the countless small ways you tend to what matters most. People trust you because they sense the genuine warmth of your heart, your capacity to love without judgment, your ability to see the best in others even when they can't see it in themselves. You're often the one family and friends turn to in times of crisis, the one who provides comfort when the world feels cold and uncertain. Your presence creates a sense of home wherever you go, but your gift of unconditional love can become a burden if you don't learn to include yourself in your circle of care. You might find yourself giving until you're empty, taking on others' problems as if they were your own, or staying in relationships that drain rather than nourish you. Your challenge is learning that boundaries aren't walls, they're acts of love that allow you to give from fullness rather than emptiness. Your growth involves remembering that you too deserve the care you so freely offer others. If your final digit is 7, you're the seeker of hidden truths, carrying the archetypal energy of the mystic, the philosopher, the one who sees beyond the veil of ordinary reality. There's something in you that's never quite satisfied with surface explanations, that keeps asking, but what does it really mean? You're naturally drawn to psychology, spirituality, mystery, or any field that explores the deeper dimensions of existence. You see what others miss, understand connections that aren't obvious, and possess an almost supernatural ability to sense the hidden patterns that govern life. Your gift is helping others recognize the meaning beneath their experiences, the spiritual significance hidden within ordinary events. You're often the one who helps people make sense of their struggles, who reveals the deeper purpose behind their pain. But your deep focus on the invisible world can sometimes disconnect you from the visible one. Your shadow might be becoming so focused on understanding that you forget to live, or isolating yourself from the very world you're trying to understand. You might struggle with feeling misunderstood, different, or too intense for ordinary social situations. Your healing comes from learning to bring your insights back into embodied, connected living, to share your wisdom in ways that serve others. Those born under 8 carry the energy of transformation and mastery, embodying the archetypal power of the alchemist, who can transform lead into gold, pain into wisdom, challenge into strength. You understand that real power comes not from avoiding difficulty, but from learning to work with it consciously, transforming obstacles into opportunities for growth. You're drawn to positions of influence because you genuinely want to create positive change in the world. Your soul knows how to take raw material, including pain, challenge, and struggle, and transform it into something valuable, something that serves not just yourself, but the greater good. You have a natural understanding of how to work with energy, how to build systems that last, how to create structures that support meaningful change. Your gift is showing others how to turn their struggles into strength, their wounds into wisdom, their challenges into catalysts for transformation. You're often the one who helps others see that their difficulties aren't punishments but initiations, opportunities to develop the inner strength they never knew they possessed. But your power can become your shadow if you use it to control others rather than to serve life. Your growth involves understanding that true power is always in service to something greater than yourself. Finally, if your birth year ends in 9, you embody the wisdom of completion and release, carrying the archetypal energy of the wise elder who understands that all things must end and that letting go is often the most loving act possible. You understand, perhaps better than most, that life is a series of cycles, that every ending is also a beginning, that death and rebirth are the fundamental rhythms of existence. You're naturally drawn to helping others through transitions, losses, and transformations. There's an old soul quality to you, a depth that comes from understanding life cycles intimately. Your gift is teaching others how to grieve with dignity, how to release what no longer serves, how to find meaning in endings. You help people see that completion isn't failure, it's the natural conclusion of a chapter that has served its purpose. But your deep understanding of life's impermanence can also be your burden. You might find yourself carrying others' pain long after it's served its purpose, or believing your role is always to be strong for everyone else. Your challenge is learning to release your own burdens as gracefully as you help others release theirs. Your healing comes from remembering that wisdom includes knowing when to let others carry their own weight. Whatever your number, remember this: you are not limited by these patterns, but you can be liberated by understanding them. When you recognize the invisible currents that have been shaping your life, you gain the power to work with them consciously rather than being unconsciously driven by them. Jung taught us that the goal isn't to eliminate the unconscious forces within us, but to develop a conscious relationship with them. Your birth year's final digit isn't your cage, it's your key to understanding the unique contribution your soul is here to make. Now, I'm curious, what's the final digit of your birth year, and does any of this resonate with patterns you've noticed in your own life? Share in the comments below and let's explore these hidden rhythms together. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to understand their own journey. Don't just watch and scroll, engage with this community of soul seekers who are all walking this path of deeper self-understanding together.